Hi everyone, I'm Josh. 欢迎回到中文播客。
Hi everyone, I'm Jessica, and welcome to ChinesePod.
Jess, 今天早上我去冰箱看的时候，发现我的可乐不见了。
Oh no, you can't find your Coke?
是呀，你喝了我的可乐吗
I didn't drink it. 我没喝。
你没喝？
我还没喝你的可乐。
哇，你用了没和还没这两个词啊。
Of course I know how to use 没 and 还没, and today we're going to be sharing that knowledge with you. So you're going to learn how to negate a past action using 没 and how to say, I haven't done something yet, but I intend to, using 还没. Finally, you're also going to learn how to use 没 to compare two different things.
好的，那我们开始吧。
First, we really want to emphasize the purpose and function of this 没. So this 没 is really used to negate a past action, correct?
对。
Great. And maybe Josh, you can let us know where exactly we use this 没 in a sentence.
我们刚刚说我没喝，所以没要放在喝这个动词的前面。
Okay, so the 没, just like the previous example, 没喝, I didn't drink, it would go before the verb. Okay, great. So let's have a little example sentence.
读书怎么样？最喜欢读书，对吧？
Okay, everyone's favorite hobby, studying. All right, so let's have an example with studying.
你读书了吗？
Okay, so he's asking me, did I study? Maybe I'm an excellent student, model student. I can say, I studied, yes.
我读了。
我读了, right? Use that 了. How about if I'm a slacker and I did not study? I want to say, I didn't study. How would I say that?
你可以说我没读。
Okay, 我没读, I didn't study, right before that verb to study. Great. How about another example?
比如说早上进公司的时候，你可以问同事：“你吃早餐了吗？”
Okay, so you ask your colleague, did you eat breakfast today? And maybe your colleague was in a rush and they want to say, I didn't eat.
我没吃。
我没吃, very simple, right? I didn't eat, I didn't have breakfast.
那
And
你吃早餐了吗？
did I eat breakfast? I want to say, yes, I did. So how would I say, yes, I ate breakfast?
我吃了。
我吃了. Great. How about you, Josh? Did you eat breakfast today?
我没吃。
Oh no, he didn't eat. Why didn't you eat breakfast?
为什么我没吃早餐？
为什么我没吃早餐? And you can say,
我没带钱包，我没钱。
no, he forgot his wallet. He didn't bring his wallet, so he didn't have money. 我没有钱, I didn't have money. All right, it's important here to remember as well, you don't need the object when you're negating, correct?
是你刚刚说我没吃早餐，我们可以说我没吃。
Right, it's already implied in the context.
我们刚刚学了没，比如说我没吃，我没喝。我们现在来看看还没。
All right, so just to reiterate here, we're going to start looking at this háiméi structure. And the function of this structure is really to say, I haven't done something yet, but I intend to. So the háiméi is placed where, Josh, in a sentence?
比如说吃好了，
Okay.
我还没吃，所以还没会放在吃的前面。
Okay, so it goes before the verb, similar to 没吃. But this 还 is like saying yet in English. It kind of directly translates to yet.
对，
But it's important to remember that yet in English is placed at the end of the sentence, whereas in Chinese it goes before the negation. So it's a little bit tricky, but once you practice, you'll be able to wrap your head around that concept in no time. Okay, so here we're saying 我还没吃. It's like saying I yet haven't eaten.
对对对。
Great. Okay, so let's start with some simple examples.
我们刚刚说读书，对不对？我们
Yeah.
现在来看看写功课。
Okay, so sticking with the theme of studying that we introduced earlier, now we're going to look at the verb to write your homework.
好的，你写功课了吗？
Okay, so did I write my homework? Past action. I want to say, yes, I did. I'm a great student.
我写了。
我写了. What's another way we can say that?
或是你可以说我完成了。
Okay, 我完成了. I think 完成 here to finish something is a really excellent phrase. 我完成了 because you can use that for a variety of different tasks,
对
correct?
你都可以说我完成了。
It just means I'm finished, I'm done. Great. Okay, so here we're saying I did my homework. How about if we're a little bit of a slacker student? We want to say I did not do my homework. How do we say that?
这个我很常说。我没写。
我没写. Okay, I didn't write it. Perfect. And if you want to say I still haven't written it yet, how would we say that?
你可以说 我还没写，等一下就写。
Okay, so I haven't written it yet. In a little bit, I'll write it. Perfect. 我还没写, I yet haven't written. Excellent. Now, what if we go into more accusatory territory? So we want to say, did you take something of mine? How would we say that?
比如说钥匙好了。
Okay, keys. Perfect.
你拿了我的钥匙吗？
Okay, 你拿, so to take. Did you take my keys, ma? Okay, and I want to say, no, I didn't take your keys. I would say,
我没拿。
我没拿, right? I didn't take. What if I want to say, I haven't taken them yet, but I plan to?
我还没拿。
Okay, 还没拿, and that's it. Perfect. And now a different scenario could be what? What could we be talking about?
我再给你一个例子好了，好吗？
Okay, great. Another example.
我们来看看这个常见的词定位。
Okay, 定位 is to make a reservation.
去餐厅吃饭的时候一定要定位，对吧？
对。
所以你可以打给朋友，你定位了吗？
Okay, so you want to make a reservation for the restaurant, you're calling your friend, did you reserve, right? Completed action. Did you reserve? And your friend says, no, I did not. How do we say that?
我没定，因为没人跟我说。
Oh, yeah, the classic excuse, right? I didn't reserve, 我没定, because nobody told me to do it. Okay, and what if your friend is a good friend and they stuck to their word and they say, well, I haven't done it yet, but I intend to. How would we say that?
你可以说我还没定，我等一下就定。
Okay, so 还没定, so I haven't, or I yet haven't reserved, but 等一下, in a bit, very soon, I plan to make that reservation for you.
对。
All right, and it's important to remember lastly that you will often hear Chinese speakers not only drop the subject in sentences, correct? But in this context, they often will drop the verb as well.
对。
So let's have an example here.
比如说你吃饭了吗？
Okay, so someone will ask you, did you eat already? Did you eat? And I can just say, 还没.
你写功课了吗？
Okay, did you write your homework? 还没.
你喝水了吗？
还没, right? So here I'm just saying, I'm not even using the subject or the verb. I'm just saying yet, haven't. 还没. You will hear that so often. And finally,
这堂课结束了吗？
is the lesson finished? 还没. So now we're going to look at our third and final usage of the word may and see how to use it when we are comparing two different things. So in English, we would say something is not as something else, right? When we were talking about an adjective like beautiful or expensive. But the Chinese usage of this may in the structure is very different from the English one, correct?
对。
Okay, so maybe Josh, you can give us a very simple example to start of how we would use may to compare two different things.
好的，我们先来看看第一个句子。我没他高。
Okay, simple. So here you're saying what? So I compared to him.
他。
高. So 我没他高. You're saying I'm not as tall as him. But you're putting that adjective at the end of the sentence, so it can get a little bit tricky. But with practice, it'll be fine, right? Okay, so 我没他高. I not as him tall. Great. How about another example?
再一个例子好了。你戴了一副漂亮的耳环。
谢谢.
你的耳环没我的手表贵。
Okay, so here we're saying, Josh is saying, your earrings are not as expensive, 贵, as my watch.
是。
Perfect. Okay. And maybe a third one?
你的耳环没我的贵。
Okay, so Josh is again saying here, your earrings compared to mine, so your earrings are not as expensive as mine.
对。
And you'll notice here you didn't repeat the earring. You didn't repeat the noun in the sentence because you're comparing two similar things, right?
是。
Earrings to earrings. So you can say, your earrings are not as expensive as mine.
对，当然你可以说你的耳环没我的耳环贵。但是你也可以说你的耳环没我的贵。Jessica， 如果我跟你说上海的冬天没北京的冬天冷，是上海的冬天冷还是北京的冬天冷呢？
Oh, okay. So here you're saying Shanghai's winters are not as cold as Beijing's, correct? And now you're asking which one is colder? Who has the colder winters? Beijing.
北京的冬天比较冷。
Tricky. Okay.
所以你可以说上海的冬天没北京的冷。
Perfect. How about another one?
法国的人没美国的多。
Okay, so France's population is not as high as America's population.
所以是哪一个国家的人多？
So which one has the higher population? America.
没错，所以美国的人比较多。你也可以说法国的人没美国的多。
Perfect. Now we're going to have a quick recap to review the 3 different ways that we've used may in today's lesson. So the first one is when we're negating a past action. We're using may. The second is to say that you haven't done something yet, but you intend to, háiméi. And finally, the third one is to say that one thing is not as something, adjective, as something else.
好的，我们用一个练习来复习一下。刚刚都是我在问你问题，现在你来问我问题，怎么样？
Great. Okay, my turn to make a sample question for Josh to translate. Okay, so what if I say, 你的中文没我的好，所以谁的中文比较好？
So Jess is saying, my Chinese is not as good as hers. 所以你的中文比较好。
没错。当然不是真的, okay? Of course it's not true, but there you have it, some examples of how to use these structures. So remember, if you want to defend yourself, if you're getting accused, you want to say, no, I didn't do it, you're using may. If you want to say you haven't done something yet, but you want to, or you plan to, use háiméi. And finally, maybe to trick your friends to thinking something is not as good as something else, use may for comparing.
好的，如果有什么问题，欢迎你们在下面留言。
我是 Jessica.
我是 Josh. 下次见。
Bye bye.
Introducing ChinesePod Recap, the app with fast summary lessons. How much time do you have? Join us in the beta program. For more info, go to ChinesePod.com/recap.